Okay. Yeah, I need a haircut. Holy crap.
It's the beach look.
Sick. It's my hairdresser is sick look. Just revived. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, we're recording, so I guess we're good.
Hey, go ahead, Andy.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Harbor Shellfish Advisory Board, February 4th, 2025, 5:12 p.m. And we begin with an approval of the agenda, please. A motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion's made by Mr. Anderson, seconded by Mr. Bossy to approve tonight's agenda. All in favor, Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Mr. Bossy?
Aye.
Mr. Brace?
All right.
Chair votes aye as well. Do we have Mr. Franzuto?
Aye.
Thank you. Draft minutes of January 21st. Has everybody had a chance to look at them? And does anybody have any revisions they'd like to add? If not, I'll accept a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's made by Mr. Bossy, seconded by Mr. Anderson to approve the draft minutes of January 21st as written. All in favor, Mr. Anderson,
Aye.
Mr. Bossy,
Aye.
Mr. Brace,
All right.
Mr. Franzuto.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Under Chairman's report tonight, a couple of announcements to make. We're gonna start with a moment of silence in honor of Steve Bender, please. Thank you. Steve served on this board. As we all know, he cared about our harbor very much. He's involved quite a bit. He will be sorely missed. Coming up this April, 3 seats here on the board will be up for re-election. And Mr. Bossy has informed me that he will not be seeking re-election. 6 years of service with us, and I would like to, and will again, before April, thank Mr. Bossy for his participation and service. I'm making this announcement now so that the other 2 seats are Mr. Anderson and Mr. Sherwin. And hopefully they'll let us know that they are running for re-election, as I like the participation of all of our board members. I think we have a wonderful board here, but to also let the public know that we'll be searching for members to seek election.
Your potential member in the audience right there, who's just dying to be on the board. Perfect.
I do plan pulling papers.
Thank you.
And the papers
That is
became
good
available
news.
yesterday. And the deadline is March 19th.
That is good news. I reached out to Sheila. She's battling with the flu. I was mistaken about Mr. DaCosta. But it was February 18th meeting, so she said she would come in for it. I wanted Bob to be here for her presence as well, but I'll reach out to her, see if she can make February 18th versus the first meeting of March. Either way, we will see her. And Mr. Sherlin will be bringing in a map of the wreckage. We can speak a little bit about that later. So we have no Marine Department report tonight. We'll move right forward to Natural Resources report. Tara Riley, please.
Thank you.
We have the 2024 water quality report draft in right now, and we're doing an internal review and looking at some of the, well, we're looking at the report and we're making edits, and after we finalize everything, if you would like a summary or a short presentation, we can get Emma to come in and do that for you. Overall, I think the harbors are looking good. It seems like the nitrogen loads are a little bit down. So I was pleasantly surprised with some of the numbers, so it was great. We received notice that we are getting $65,000 for the eelgrass management plan from the Great Harbor Yacht Club. It will be accepted at next week's select board meeting. We've initiated Urban Harbors Institute to help us with the eelgrass management plan. And I think I said last week, it's kind of an aggressive timeline to be finished by July 1st of this year. Hoping to roll it out in time for summer. We just posted our intern positions. This year we have 3 available. One is a hatchery research position, one is a field technician position, and one is a water quality position. So they're usually May through the end of August. Sometimes we get extensions to go a little bit longer, 40 hours a week. If you know anyone that might be interested, they can apply on the town website. It's only open until next Monday, so we have a very short application window. Right now, we're working on the March pond openings, putting those out to bid. That came up really fast. So we'll be doing that. I was looking in one of my files to see if I could get a bushel count for you guys, but there was only 6 days of data for bushel counts for January. There were like 8 or 9 days, I think, that were missed for cold weather. But from the averages that I got from the 6 days and the days that were available to fish, it appears that we're somewhere around the 900 to 1,000 mark for bushels for January. And so I think that would probably put us somewhere around, we're being generous, 6,000. Around 6,000, I would say, for the season so far. On average, in those 6 days, it looks like we had limits of in between 13 to 17 fishermen. And that's kind of all I have for right now.
Thank you, Tara. Board members, any questions or comments? Natural Resources Report. Not seeing or hearing any comments from the public on Natural Resources Report? We'll move right up to old business.
Is that to Tara?
Mr. Logan?
Thank you, John Logan. Sarah, is those water quality reports available online?
Not yet, because they're in draft form, so we contract out the analysis, so we have to finalize it, and then it will be available online, yes.
Okay. Which website? Can I go to?
Just the town website under natural resources, there's a water quality tab. I think if you're interested in using the WQAV tool, which is just a mapping tool of the water quality, that's available now.
Okay.
Great, thank you, Tara.
Tara, I guess on that subject, any reports back or results back from the samples taken regarding particles or debris from Vineyard Wind?
So we just sent off the second set of samples last week to UMass. They started the initial analysis for the first samples that we had July through, I'd say, October. We haven't seen any information yet, but I did talk to the researcher that's running the information, and she said that there is what appears to be like some of the resin that was mixed in with the styrofoam. But they're trying to get a chemical ID on that resin and match it to what they found on the beach. And then she'll write a report out based on that. But it was, she said, very very small amounts, if anything.
Thank you, but those samples came from the harbor.
Um,
Or,
Both, we had
Surrounding.
Nantucket Harbor, Mattocket Harbor, and Surfside Beach.
thank you. Any more questions on natural resources? Scott Anderson?
The Mariah Mitchell buoy that was out there, are they sharing their water quality data with you?
They will, we had a meeting with them 2 weeks ago. A lot of the NGOs in the town got together and we were talking about the buoy and the placement of the buoy for this year. And how exactly we could share the data and what that looked like. So we're trying to work it all out.
Thank you. There's nothing else on natural resources report, old business amendments to town shellfish regulations. Do you have any more review or discussion?
I sent around, I think like 2 days after the last SHAD meeting, I sent around a summary of the things that got flagged during the last review that, I would say mostly were Bobby's items. So I have copies of that if you want to go through them, or I don't know. You let me know what you want to do. I think, like I said, I think most of this stuff were questions that you had for JC. And also, things that Bobby wanted to discuss further.
Yeah, particularly the apprentice
Mhm.
program.
The apprentice, there were, some comp regulations.
You think that we can get JC to come to a meeting to help us out?
I think that
I think so.
you can ask him.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he's always told me just to ask and,
So do we want to then wait on all of that until we can get him to come and Bobby's here and
Will Bobby be at the next meeting?
say he would be, but yes. He
and then Jim will
also,
be here.
mhm. And Jim has a few things which I'll bring up now. In case this is something you need to go over for the next 2 weeks there. He was curious, Jim Sherwin. About the enforcement outside of the lines drawn at Jetties and Smith's Point to Eel Point. He was curious to know if, does that mean there is no enforcement outside of those lines? For example, the backside of Co-2 or over to Tucker Knot. Are those areas exempt of regulations other than landing in those areas? He felt that that should be addressed and discussed. I actually asked him what in particular do you mean, and he said dredge weights, number of dredges, temperature, etc. So basically, the regular to be.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Franzuno, please.
yeah, those areas are included in the enforcement by the town. I mean, we've had sets of scallops outside of Go-To where guys fished out there all year. We've had scallops in Tuckanuck, guys fished there all year. It's within the 3-mile limit of the town's jurisdiction.
Okay, simple
So
enough.
all the laws are in effect out to 3 miles.
Okay,
Absolutely no reason why there would be any exemption.
correct. I agree. Just a clarification, I guess, having seen those lines drawn on the map. He was also curious about green crab enforcement. And is that in the town's jurisdiction or enforceable by environmental police officer only?
I wrote that down last time, and it's included in here because the green crab is a little bit different with the LOA. And I think we had talked about how JC was not going to enforce the blue crab regulations because he felt like you're at 25 per limit, that, you never see that amount anyways. So I don't know if we even need to have crabs in our shellfish regulations. I don't know. So that's in here for discussion. I have paper copies of the topics that got flagged if anybody would like them.
All right, I'd take a copy.
Good.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, could I say something? Yeah, it's not pertinent to what we're talking about, but green crab. Mr. Anderson, would you send me a copy of your letter again via email, the most current one that we submitted to the harbor plan? I don't mean to get off topic here, but when I heard green crab, I had a note here from the harbor plan meeting. I want to make sure that it's included in the appendix, and also we talked about it the other day about invasive species. So I wanted to make sure that I had the right letter, Scott.
I will look what I have and I'll get it to you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Tara, your thoughts? Is there something we could make progress on with this, or shall we continue it to our next meeting?
I mean, I think a lot of the things got flagged, are discussions that JC needs to be involved in my personal opinion.
Okay. So I will make a formal request to JC to attend the February 18th meeting, and hopefully he's available to do so. Anybody else, anything to add on amendments to town shellfish regulations? And next is shellfish ward notifications to commercial bay scallopers regarding red flag days and other vital communications. We singled this out because it's really important that we iron this out as well. Here again,
And JC to that.
yes. So if there's no discussion on this, we'll continue this to our next meeting. Possible extension of commercial bay scallop season due to missed fishing days. And of course, under new business, the other option may be to raise the limit to 7 bushels. Do we have a count on how many days have been missed so far?
I don't have a total count, but Bruce Cowan said for January it was 9 and JC said 8. But I'm not sure prior to January how many there were, if you guys know.
Who's marking their calendar?
I am, I don't have my calendar with me, but
Okay.
you know, we're definitely a dozen anyway. From the beginning of the season,
Okay.
half a month.
And how many fewer boats in the fleet do we know roughly? Has anybody dropped out aside from some vacationers? I know Jim's been on vacation and Carl has been out for health reasons. I know they have their boat out of the water. Sure it'll go back in with Jim returning, but that's just one boat.
I
Yeah,
think there's a minimal decrease in the fleet. The same regular guys are going and will continue to go. But you know, I think 15 is the round number.
yeah. 15 boats.
15 boats, and there's maybe a convention that was going on that. There might be 3 or 4.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask a question?
Dave, please do.
How, you guys that are fishing every day, are you still getting your limit? What time are you getting in?
He's asking you guys.
You get a full limit and it's well before noon.
Well before noon. Okay. All right. Well, that's the kind of,
We're at 4 or 5 tows for a 6-box limit, and then we're going home. So
all right, that's the kind of information that we need to know so we can make a valued decision based on what's going on out there and the recommendation of the biologist. So, okay, now I can think about that. Thanks.
everybody's home before lunch, basically.
Yes, Tara.
After the last meeting, I went ahead and sent an email off to Dan McKiernan from the DMF, telling him that we're anticipating this request coming forward. And he said his suggestion would be to develop the request and the rationale and have the select board put it in writing for him at the DMF. And they might come back with a few questions, but I think we have enough information that we can front load a letter with for an approval for at least a 2-week extension.
A
Yeah.
a 2-week extension?
Wait, hold on.
If-
We're jumping between two agenda items.
Oh, I'm
So-
sorry.
The extension of the season is under old business, whereas extending the limit is under new business. Which one, where are we, Andy?
We're still in old business,
Okay,
season extension.
I'd like to suggest though, that they're pretty much intertwined.
They are, but-
You may do one or both, and I'd like to hear where there might be a preference to do one or the other from the fishermen. Right, so we go to 7 boxes, and now the Shanty people are gonna get more work suddenly. I don't know if it matters. But, or you stretch the season out, and everybody just goes along happy as they are. And, or you do both, and if the fishery can sustain it. So anyway, so I'd like to hear people's ideas, what they'd like to see.
Well, and this is probably a question we should get out there, to more than 2 fishermen, but.
Well, I saw a number of people online, maybe there weren't as many as I thought,
Okay,
but
well,
yeah, I just,
Cona's
okay.
certainly a fisherman. Who's Adam?
who's Adam and who's Jeff R? Don't know who those
That
people
might
are.
be Jeff Carlson.
What?
That might be Jeff
Okay.
Carlson.
And Adam, I just need to know for the minutes, but
but yeah, that would be good to get the word out, because I think it's a, what's a better solution? I think they're really tied together.
So, for the 2 fishermen here with us, and online, I'll just say that this is, these are decisions we're juggling, as you know, and, for the sake of your fishermen missing so many days and for the sake of the fishery itself. So, certainly you've thought about this, and, we're open to, any ideas you may have preliminarily at this moment, and that can certainly change in the next 2 weeks to the next month.
So from my perspective, I'm looking at, again, this is not a mandate, but an opportunity. I've said that before, we've asked for the increase in bushel limit. If you have the ability to catch more, open more with your openers, and have the market to sell more, please give it to us. As far as extending the season, I've spoken with a few of my friends who are in the restaurant industry that would be ecstatic to have fresh bay scallops on their menus as they're starting to open up in the middle of April. And I know that's not really the purview of this board to talk about any sort of economic value to that. But if we still have the product, and we're able to catch it, why wouldn't we? And having said that, I'm also in the last few days starting to see the product dying off a little bit. So we're running also into that part of the season where it's not a significant amount of attrition, but there is some, and it's just going to grow as the water stays colder, and they just start dying off. So I'm in favor of both proposals here. For the 15, and I'm speaking for myself, but if there's only 15 guys going, and that might even drop out even less in the next couple of weeks. But I'm in favor of both of those proposals as a fisherman.
and so sorry, Mr. Chairman, can you guys talk it up out there in the water and tell people what we're thinking so that people don't get blindsided, so that maybe the buyers will hear, because we've taken, well, me personally have taken flack because we don't inform people enough, which is not our job, but since you guys are on the water.
Yes, absolutely, Peter. Thank you. And I will talk to, everybody that I come in contact with, and whatever the response or replies might be, or their own opinions, and whether they want to work harder or not. that's up to them, whether they think they have to or not is up to them also. And again, like I said, we continue to say, it's not a mandate, it's an opportunity. If you have the ability to do it,
Right.
then please grant it to us.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, again, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the communication with the shellfish warden. He should be seeing these guys. If he's only got 15 boats, he should be seeing these guys on a daily basis, and he needs to be asking them for their input, because that's the conduit. He's the one that's there every day. That's the conduit should be back to natural resources and back to us. So, to Peter's point about talking it up and finding out what's going on, he's the resource that should be doing that.
Thank you, Dave. Just another thought, I would imagine some fishermen may be planning a vacation when the season ends, and extending the vacation may put, there'd probably be fewer people involved in an extension than there would be those going for an extra box. I'm gonna ask Adam to identify himself, please, if you would. If you're not, unmute and tell us who you are, and maybe it's Adam Spencer. Hello, Adam,
Hey, Andy, it's Adam. Yeah, it's Adam Spencer.
thank you. Do you have anything you'd like to add to this discussion as far as I'll allow discussion on both extension of the season 2 weeks into April, and or adding another box to the limit? I know I spoke with you and your dad a couple weeks ago, and you might have been a little bit skeptical about the increase in the limit. How are you feeling about those items today, Adam, if you would be willing to share your feelings?
Yeah, I'd probably be more into extending the season than going after 7.
Okay. And as you've heard Mr. Logan say, even if we do raise the limit to 7, it doesn't mean it's mandatory to take 7. So do you have an explanation on that, on your reasoning for not really being privy to adding the extra box to the limit?
Well, the last time that it went up, the price at the fish market did go down. I'm not blaming it on that, but it just, maybe good for one market, not good for another market.
Mhm.
But I'm up to a vote, if people want to do it.
Mhm. Okay, all right. And even though it is mentioned that price should not be in our purview, it certainly has an effect on the fishery. And honestly, Mr. Brace, I think this is something that we should look into a little more. And we don't necessarily have to discuss it pinpointing price, but I think we should allow discussion of price to come into discussion from fishermen so that we understand how it's affecting the fishery itself. Certainly this $12 a pound to me is a slap in the face to the fishery. And to hear that sea scallops are getting $19 a pound wholesale, and knowing that the Nantucket Bay scallop is certainly far superior, it just doesn't seem fair. But anyhow, thank you, Adam. And Mr. Logan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To that point that Adam made, it can be market specific, and again, it's not your purview, but his comment about when we raise the limit to 6 bushels to the fishermen, the price went down. It didn't to myself. It actually, the price went up because my buyer was excited to be able to have more product guaranteed coming in. So again, it might be something, I know it's not, for this board to hear, but I just wanted to make a point to Adam's comment that that's not the case for everybody.
Okay, I understand there are some niche markets there and I appreciate that as well. So, thank you, Mr. Logan. Kona, anything to add if you wish?
You need to let him in.
Oh, Kona,
Phone is in the waiting room.
he was up there for a bit.
He
Yeah.
was up there.
Sorry, you were raising your hand about Scott.
Yes,
Thank you.
no, he'd been on, then he dropped off, and then he came back in.
He's too big to be in the waiting room.
Kona, did you have anything you wanted to add tonight in this discussion? Did we lose him again?
No, he's there.
Right, so they-
All right. Sarah. Just an estimate of how long we have to discuss this before we need to make a move as far as the extension goes.
I think that we should, get it in this month, definitely.
Okay,
I think I would like to do that. I think we have enough information to show that it would be worthwhile. I think when the fishermen are communicating about either an extension or an addition of a bushel, it would be helpful to know too, if it's just an extra box or if it would be beneficial for more than one extra box.
Mhm.
And if I could just say, so it would go from you to the select board with our endorsement as to what we thought about it then.
Mhm.
I think that's how it worked last time. Okay, just want to understand.
Can I ask a question,
Yeah.
please?
Yeah.
Are we at 6 right now?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes,
All right, so we're talking about going to 7, right?
yeah, if not,
Or if not
More.
more, but
yeah,
okay.
Can I say something?
Peter, please.
Just because we do an extension, that doesn't guarantee that all those days will be fishable. So it's, if we do both, go to 7 and do an extension, at least we're giving the fishermen every opportunity. And I don't think that, the first 2 weeks in April, it's gonna be in the 20s and the flag will fly, but you can very well get nor'easters or whatever, and you can't go out. So just I've seen it all in terms of weather out here during the season and the winter's not done until probably June sometimes. For-
Mr.
Dave?
Chairman? Yeah, to Peter's point, I always remind people that April, I know I'm dating myself here, but April 1984 is when the Great Point Lighthouse was blown over.
Mhm.
It was my first week on Nantucket, so anyway, that's why it sticks in my mind, but that was April.
We had a plastering snowstorm about 10 years ago as well, in April. All right, so Tara, it sounds like this is something you'll be currently working on. Okay, great, thank you. And, if we find the need, if we get the extension approved and we find the need, we should not permit it, we still have that option as well, correct? Okay, so, all right, any more discussion on, the possibility of the extension of the commercial bay scallop season?
If anything else, it'd be a good exercise for us, so we were prepared, for future seasons.
Yes. Okay, submerged boat wreckage. Hazard off of Monomoy. Jim. At the next meeting, we'll be bringing in a map. I guess there are about 5 or 6 different pieces of old wreckage, some of these pieces, we even know, who is responsible for them. And, Sheila will be available to discuss as well. It sounds like some of these pieces of wreckage are, fairly heavy, may require two, mooring handlers barges to remove. And, there's also a couple of fuel tanks involved, I'm told. So to expect somebody to go out and work on this just by volunteerism, probably not a good idea where there's some liability involved with a couple of fuel tanks in the mix. And the concern of this wreckage is not only for fishermen getting hooked onto them with dredges, it's also, simply the general public stumbling upon this or diving off of a boat and landing on top of it. It sounds like there's some framework, a couple of inboard motors and the fuel tanks, like I say, and in between the two Monomoy piers, both east and west of the piers, so several locations. And it's possible we'll be able to get a diver out there to actually buoy these hazards. But ultimately to have them all removed, I'm told there's also some footage of a summer visitor in their sailboat having their anchor caught up in the wreckage and had quite a time removing their anchor from the wreckage. So not exactly a welcoming moment for a vacationing boater. So hopefully, I'm sure Sheila is aware of this and getting organized, the availability for somebody to remove this would be wonderful, of course. Any discussion? We'll have more on this in 2 weeks.
Where is the thing?
I'm sorry.
Where is it?
I am just, I'm at a loss. I really am. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know what and where exactly we're talking about. I thought I had a pretty good handle on what was over there, but in talking to Jim Sherlin and to Bruce Cowan, yeah, we're gonna somebody, hire one of Osley's guys or somebody to go over there and take a good survey of what the heck is there and then come up with a plan to get it out of there.
Yeah, well, and like I said, Jim should be coming in 2 weeks, with a map, with some red X's, marking it up.
That's what we need.
Yeah, and it's, I understand the misunderstanding, I guess, Dave, but it sounds like it's all there and where they say it is, so we'll take their word for it and
Oh, no, I don't, I'm not disputing whether it's there. I'm just saying
yeah,
that, we went from a derelict sailboat to inboard engines and fuel tanks. That
yeah, yeah,
we gotta get a grip on this. And now's the time, not now, but April, late April, early May is the time to get that done.
yes,
Anyway,
yes.
I'll plan on being, I'll make every attempt to be at the meeting on the 18th.
Thank you, Dave.
I'll even come in person if you guys can stand to
Whoa.
see.
Well, if there were something nice.
Thanks, Dave.
I will.
If there's nothing else on the submerged wreckage off of Monomoy, we'll move forward to new business, which we've kind of touched upon already. Possible commercial base golfing bushel limit increase to 7 bushels. And as you heard in earlier discussion, it's possible this, it could be considered to take more than 7 bushel. Is there any more discussion on this as the season progresses? We will certainly, we're keeping this at the top of our radar, as is our town biologist, thankfully. And so this will be part of our discussion at every meeting in the foreseeable future until a decision is actually made. So if nobody wants to speak up now, you'll certainly get a chance to at our next meeting or in a future meeting. Any more discussion on increased bushel limit? No hands up. If there's nothing else, then any public questions or comments on anything in particular, something you would like to see on the agenda for our next meeting? At our last meeting, Mr. DaCosta asked to have discussion about building an app for weather and catch reports. Mr. Anderson?
No, I would just like to find out if Sheila knows when they're gonna move that red channel marker. It's
And another one is floated up.
sitting out there in the middle of the harbor.
There's another one floated up on code 2, yeah, at the quarter of the day,
Yeah,
found it the other day.
is it there?
Yeah, I found it Saturday morning, Friday morning, yeah.
Is it beached?
It was bobbing a little, but it's not going anywhere by itself.
Yeah,
It could go off probably, but not now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure.
so we'll get to see that big helicopter over here
It'll be back.
at some point.
We had to close off the beach though because it's so soft. We're
Yeah.
getting stuck already.
Well, Scott, actually, thank you for that question because I'd like all board members and members of the public, if you wish, if you have any questions for Sheila for Marine Department, please try to submit them to us before our next meeting so that we can share those questions with her. So that she can come in prepared with answers.
Yeah, I got something right away.
I think it's only fair,
I mean,
Peter.
what about the, last time we were. One of the last time she was in, she was all hot about, regulations for the,
The dinghy racks and,
where the dinghies are at the town pier and
Yep.
saw that, and she said she'd need our support for that, and, we haven't obviously seen her, so we don't know where she is.
No, she actually mentioned that when I spoke with her today, and she said she had some discussion about regulations.
Good.
To go over with us.
Good.
yeah, she and I went through them and rewrote them. I think they're ready for prime time, but I'll check with her this week and find out where we're at with that.
Great. Thank you, Dave. And while you're talking with her, I will send her a message as well, but let her know I was mistaken about Bob's Mr. DaCosta's attendance here. I thought he was gonna be here today and not on February 18th, so pushed her up to coming in the first week of March, but if she could make it February 18th, that would probably be better.
Okay.
All right, great. Anything else? Items for our next meeting? If you think of something, reach out to Peter or I. 3 days before our next meeting or 4 days before our next meeting would be nice, so that we can add it to the agenda. Our next meeting is February 18th and March 4th. If there's nothing else to discuss tonight, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion's made by Mr. Anderson to adjourn tonight's meeting, seconded by Mr. Bossy. All in favor, Mr. Anderson,
Aye.
Mr. Bossy,
Aye.
Mr. Brace,
All right.
Mr. Franzuto.
Aye.
The chair votes aye as well. This meeting is adjourned, 5:55 PM. Thank you, everyone.